Baseball family, welcome to this week's episode where we are going to talk baseball zen, premature flippulation, and City Connect jerseys right now. 9 Plus Us presents the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Kansas City Little Big Briggy Blue Eyes. And now, Baseball Together. Welcome back, baseball family, to another episode of the Baseball Together podcast. I'm Brig, and I'm in the house with Mr. Brad, man. How are you, Brad?
I'm good. I think I'm more awake or more alert or with it than you, but We'll see how things go.
100%. I am faking the funk today. I have been on a road trip. I drove from upstate South Carolina to Utah in just a couple of days. I made it safe. We're good to go, rocking and rolling, and we are not going to stop because if I do, I will lose all this momentum and fall asleep. So, if we pick up the pace a little bit.
Looking at this, though, you look like you're recording in just like the void. There's like nothing behind you.
Oh no. You don't see the watch? There's a watch right there.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, hanging on the wall. It's a big fat wooden watch. I'm in my basement of my parents' house, my dad's office. It's very cool. Anyway, they're very accommodating. Here's the point. Baseball family, got a lot of current events to go through. Then this week, we're going to get into City Connect jerseys. We had a couple of releases already. And then we have some hopes and dreams for the cities they've announced upcoming for the rest of the season. So stay with us today. First, Rachel Balkovek gets her first win as manager in Tampa with the Tarpons. Brad, this is exciting news. Not only for Yankees fans, I feel like, but for all of baseball and women and young girls, and I'll bet everybody at Baseball for All is going nuts over this. Like, this is I don't know. I feel like we can't build this up anymore.
Right, and the big thing about it for me is, like, obviously she want to get that first win out of the way, just get through it. But the thing to me, like the big takeaway for me was not so much just the win, but to see how happy the players were for her in the high five line. They were giving her high fives, giving her hugs, just like all of them were just super excited for her to get the first win because it's historic. It is a historic win in professional baseball in the United States. So Huge. It was awesome. It was very cool. It was fun to see everybody how excited they were for her.
I agree with you. And hopefully to see much more of that. Many much more.
Mucho
like that.
Much and more, I suppose.
Really briefly, we don't have a lot of information on this, but I do think it's notable. The information has come out about the Lerner family. They're considering selling the Washington Nationals. And Brad, my question to you is not why is this happening, but why is this information coming out right now? It feels like opening weekend is not the appropriate time to drop this ball of information.
So I think what it is it might be something they were kind of considering, right? That it's like, yeah, they've been thinking about this for a while, but maybe it picked up momentum and maybe they're getting to be more serious about it since the end of the lockout. Because they might be one of those ownership groups or families who are owners who are just like, we don't want to spend this kind of money anymore on baseball. We got in because we didn't have to meet a salary floor. We didn't have to pay guys a whole bunch of money. Now we've got Juan Soto who is asking for a boatload, and the fan base is going to turn on us anyway if we don't re-sign him and 100%. Offer him the money that he is A, asking for, and B, quite frankly, deserves, right?
Well deserving of, yes.
So, like, they're just like, we don't want to pay that money, and if that's the way baseball is going, we don't want to be in the business anymore. I honestly think that's what it is.
That's interesting. So the altruist in me sits here thinking, good, right? Like this is a wonderful opportunity to bring in new ownership, new mentality, Cuban. New paradigm. What?
Mark Cuban.
Exactly. That'd be a great opportunity. But you're saying, wow, this isn't good for us business-wise. I'm looking at it from the other side going, wow, this is great for baseball, because if they're unwilling to play under these new rules and carry this momentum forward, and they're going like, no, you know what, we don't want to live up to this new expectation, then good riddance, I say. So
that's what I'm saying too, is that it's not bad. It's not bad for baseball. Get the cheap owners out. Get them out. Because if they're not willing to pony up and pay the money that it takes to put a competitive product on the field, they should sell their teams. We've been saying that for a while. We said that all
Who
through the
was
lockout.
who was the woman that owned the Cincinnati Reds for a long, long time? She was all stingy about everything and had her
Marge
staff walk
Schott
the dog. Huh?
was Marge Schott was also a racist,
Yeah,
like a
that's
raging
right.
racist.
She totally.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like we're experiencing another turnover here. This is going to be a landmark. Like, yes. Anyway, let's move on from March. I'm getting tangential. Okay.
Transition.
Brad is going to explain baseball betting to us to me specifically, but to the rooters. And if you want to get involved in that and him explaining how to bet on baseball, he's in a state where that's legal. Then sign up for our Patreon. But first, we have to talk about this, and this is why it's important that we learn about betting on baseball if you're interested, because this guy he bet $50 and walked away with $265,000.
Results are not typical.
What is it? The ad for the Barnes firm I keep hearing on the Yankees radio network, WFAM and WFAM FM. They always have the disclaimer that says past results do not guarantee future results or something like that.
Seriously, though.
And that's how this feels, right? So anyway, he won $265,000. He ponied up $50 in what is, in the parlance of this crowd that Brad is a part of, known as a 14-leg parlay. Now, if you're anything like me, the only thing you know about a parlay is that A, it's a French word, and B, pirates use it during negotiations where you have to maintain some semblance of good faith. That's all I know. Brad, tell us something, at least a little bit about this.
Okay, so parlay. So you make your individual bets, right? Like if I wanted to go bet on the Mariners, then I would just say this much money on the Mariners for whatever, win by this much, lose by this much, score this many runs, whatever. So you can pick your individual bets, and then they return your odds, right? Like 2-1, 1-1, whatever, 1 point anyway. But what you do with a parlay is you take a bunch of bets and you say, okay, I think maybe 2 or 3 of these are going to hit. And then you put them together. And then you get odds that are more in your favor because you have to hit all 3. You can build those. The more and more you build them, the better odds you get, the more it's going to pay out. So I should have done this math earlier, but if this guy put down $50 on a 14-leg parlay, all 14 of those had to hit, and it said that he did them all on unders on the day, which is you're choosing the total number of runs that are going to be scored in a game. So say that the over-under is 9.5. So he took the under, saying that all of these games are going to score less than 9 runs. 9 runs or less. They always do half, so you don't push, right?
Right.
So
I'm
he
just agreeing
won
with you because I have to. I don't know.
I don't know if my calculator is going to give me enough numbers, honestly, to be able to do the math on this, because this is going to be a really big number for his odds to be able to pay out that much. So if he won $265,272.29,
yeah,
and put down 50, he got let's see, I need to multiply that by, or divide that by 2. Sorry. I'm thinking he got 265,272 plus 265,272, which equates to 265,000 to 1 about.
265,000 to 1 odds.
Sorry, 2,652 anyway to 1
Oh,
odds.
okay.
But still, that's not good. But that's why it paid out.
No, those
so
are
much.
bad odds.
Yeah.
In a gunfight, that's when you run away, right?
Like, exactly right. Yeah.
That's how I think of betting. I'm like,
now you and I were joking about this yesterday because I put down a bet at the D-backs game and ended up losing, and then I was like, I should just stick to like the 50-cent parlays like this. And
right.
I might start playing those, Brig. It's an investment opportunity.
Apparently, it's akin to winning the lottery. Who knows what that? I don't. So anyway, if you
Well,
want to
because
learn
even
more
if
about betting,
so, here's the
go ahead.
thing. Yeah, if you want to learn more about betting, we're going to be doing stuff on Patreon. But real quick, if he had put down a 50-cent bet, he still would have won $2,600.
Instead of $50.
And yeah, if he had like hedged his bet a little bit or considerably more and only done 50 cents on it, it still would have been $2,600.
Wow.
So there you go.
And this is just sheer luck. Like nobody says
Oh yeah, yeah.
he just shoveled a bunch of crap into that bet,
Well,
and that was it.
he clearly had a strategy because he took
Right.
all
Okay.
unders that he went into the day, and I don't know if he necessarily looked at all the games and was like, there are not going to be any runs scored today, because this was Saturday, so it was technically the second day of the season, and if you those were a bunch of low scoring games, and on
They
Sunday you
were.
could have just about gone through and taken the over and won just as much.
Exactly, because
Honestly,
everybody scored 10 runs on Sunday.
exactly
Feels
right.
like it.
Yes, yes. So I don't know. We'll get more into that on Patreon, but that's
Interesting.
pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
Well, let's segue into our favorite character, Rob Manfred. Is he has decided he wants to offer a peace offering to the players. He's saying he's sorry, I guess, by sending them headphones.
I have to give Denise credit on this because she said, I hope they're noise canceling so they don't have to listen to him anymore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She did
That's
say that.
That's the only reason
Brilliant.
this would make any sense at all.
So
Any
apparently,
sense.
there's a letter that he released in conjunction with this peace offering, and Brad's gonna pull it up and read it to us. I am saving. This is a genuine reaction. I didn't read the letter on purpose. I wanted to do it on the show. So here we go. Whenever you're ready, Brad.
All right.
Blind reaction to Rob Manfred's twisted logic.
So I think this is only part of it, but this is the part that I liked a lot. This is from the score. It says, please accept this gift as a small gesture of my appreciation for the hard work that comes with being a major leaguer and your respect to our incredible fans. Thank you for everything you do in a game that has such a rich history and deep meaning to our fans in the U.S. and around the world. Wishing you the best of luck for a successful season.
It sounds like a long version of a customer receipt.
Thank you for shopping. He's going to take it out of everybody's paycheck.
Yes, that's exactly right. Your server was Tammy. I hope she did a good job or whatever, like that's how it feels. It's just so like lukewarm.
At best. And I told my wife about this. I was like, what a joke. She's like, the guy in the league who's making the least amount of money, I guarantee you could have just gone out and bought those yesterday if he wanted to.
Totally.
100%. Like,
Totally.
give him something that's more meaningful than headphones.
No, it is the most meaningful thing, Brad, because if that's me, if I'm getting those headphones, here's the first thing I'm doing. I'm going down to my local trophy shop and I'm going to get them plaqued like a golden glove, and I'm going to have a freaking plate on it with etched engraving of some kind that said, I survived Manfred 2022
Survive the
or
lockout.
something. Yes, and I put it on the trophy case with everything else.
And then go buy yourself better headphones than what he gave you.
Or who cares? You probably already have a set of headphones. Who doesn't have their own set of headphones?
Everybody's got nice headphones.
Good grief, Rob. Okay, let's move on to some exciting news. We have a pitcher out of Japan. He is 20 years old. He just threw a perfecto with 19 strikeouts. It's Roki Sasaki. And Brad's repping the perfecto hat today.
That's right.
You can jump on the shop and grab yourself a perfect hat. We also have it in t-shirts and tank tops. Okay, but Brad, 19 strikeouts? That's like unreal.
Dude, that is 2 2/3 innings of worth of guys who didn't strike out.
That's sickening. There are 27 total outs in a ball game. 27.
He was dealing. Yeah. I'm curious. I mean, obviously he's on big league teams' radars now,
For
but I'm
sure. He probably
curious
always
how
has been.
much. I was going to say I'm curious how much he was before. How many teams had their eye on him?
Yeah.
But the article specifically referred to him as a phenom. So you could be maybe every team has had their eye on him,
I don't
and
know.
this is they're like, yes, he can deal
Well, this is definitely his calling card moment for sure.
big time.
Do you think
'Cause he
he'll
was
get
cooking.
the same amount of attention that we saw from like Suzuki and Ichiro and some of these other guys? Like, do you think it'll build that much hype?
If he's so he's 20. If he
Right.
plays in Japan for 3 more years and continues to do stuff like this and just gets better, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he could be like the next Daisuke coming over.
Right.
I don't know if he'd be as big as Nomo because Nomo was a huge deal, but he could be up there with those guys if he continues to deal like this
Yeah.
and doesn't have any problems. But the one problem that comes with bringing over pitchers from Japan is I read an article several years ago. I cannot find it to reference it. You have to take my word on this, but I think that the Major League Baseball, like the ball, is a touch bigger than the Japanese ball,
Yeah.
and
I've heard this.
that's one reason that they think that Japanese pitchers have elbow issues. Why they all need Tommy John when they come over,
Yeah.
which would make perfect sense to me.
Well, and it's harder to hit a smaller ball.
But it travels farther.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
but,
let's talk about PitchCom. We have some updates on PitchCom. I only know what the Red Sox and Yankees think of it because I've been listening to the broadcasts on my road trip. But Brad, I guess the Red Sox are not sold on it. The Yankees seem to dig it. Have you heard anything else from around the league or from the games you've been watching or listening to?
I've seen different applications of it. By that I mean like catchers seem to have their preferred ways of using it. Like is it Kyle Higashioka?
Yeah.
He puts it on his leg, on his right leg,
Right.
and then he covers it up with his glove while he's putting in the pitch. I was like, that's not something I had thought about.
Me
That the
neither.
guys who have it on their arm, like yeah, they kind of put their hand over it, kind of like how you would do your pin at the grocery store, you know, and they
Right.
still have it covered up while they're doing it. But he is like full on concealed. He doesn't want anybody to see what he's doing. I thought that was awesome. That was really smart. The
It is
one
awesome.
I did notice with that is there was another catcher I was watching today. I believe it was Salvi Perez.
Mm-hmm.
He had it there too, but he went to block a ball and it flew off his leg. So
Oh,
there's a slight hazard with that.
interesting. Well, and if
And
you're the pitcher, you're probably like,
yeah, well, and I wonder too, even like on the arm, because the guys have it on the top of their arm. When you go to block a ball as a catcher, you're exposing your forearm.
Yeah.
So like the inside of your forearm. So it's not necessarily going to be what's going to hit the ball, but it still could.
Could.
I'm curious
That's
how
an
many of these
interesting-
things they're going to go through in the course of a season.
Dude, I haven't even thought about it that way. That's really insightful. Huh.
Because I
Thanks,
know
Salvi.
I know the Mariners aren't using it.
Yeah.
I didn't pay close enough attention to see if the Twins were using it this weekend or even today. But I think they were using it. I think the Diamondbacks were using it when I was at the game on Sunday. It goes faster, that's for sure, though.
It really does go faster.
It's and it's going to add up how much time
Yeah.
is saved between pitches, and it's gonna be really good, I think.
In fact, speaking of that, I got a little bit behind on my radio broadcast yesterday during the third game of the Yankees Red Sox. And so about the eighth inning, I think I got a phone call, but the MLB app paused the game for me where I picked up my phone call.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to re-access the feed, which I did not know it did this for me. I re-access the feed, and I was able to just hit the advanced 10-second button.
Uh-huh.
And I would hit it twice. It got so repetitive. I just went beep, beep, and hit it twice, and it was the next pitch every time. So at least during the latter half of that game, there was about 20 seconds between each pitch.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
Right. I feel like that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, I think it's next year when we're going to see the pitch clock come in. And so it'll be even more timed like that.
Dude, I went to a Louisville Bats game, and the dude was throwing the pitches at like 4 seconds left, 3 seconds left. Like, It was making me uncomfortable the whole time. There's no reason for it. Like, none. Everybody was ready. It was just, I don't know, it was weird. Just the whole interaction felt weird.
There are some pitchers who do kind of dink around like that. I don't want to say dink around, but they take their time. Like
Yeah.
there's they always comment on it on the Mariners radio broadcast. They'll be like,
Yeah.
well, we got so and so and so going tomorrow. So you can schedule an early dinner because we're going to be out of here early, or so and so and so and so and so
Yeah.
pack a lunch because we're going to be here all day.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. Apple TV had their MLB debut, and apparently it was an abysmal failure as far as the broadcast goes. Boomer Esiason actually said it's unlistenable. That's what he said. And then a bunch of people from around the Twitterverse, which is not my domain because I'm a curmudgeon, but Brad loves it. And Dave Poole, who's at 2_ring_circus, said on Twitter, I love that name, by the way, and the handle. It sounds more like a radio station morning show than a baseball broadcast. This is pretty bad, end quote. So Dave Poole, if you're listening, jump in and let us know. But did you tune in? I obviously didn't, but
so I didn't watch the Nats and Mets game, and I feel like that's where most of the issue came from. Is that the team they had doing that was not good. The team doing the Astros and Angels, I didn't think it was too bad. I like Katie Nolan, so I was entertained. I like her style, so I was fine with her. For the most part, it was good. Hunter Pence was fine. The presentation, though, like if you don't like what they're saying, just freaking mute it. That's what I say. Like, don't listen to them. Just watch the game.
I know a lot of people that do that
because that's how I watch 90% of games anyway. Because there's so much stuff going on around me in the house, I can't hear what's going on, so I just mute it.
Right.
The presentation was really good, the visual,
right? All the graphics and
the graphics, the cinematography of all of it, like some of the shots that they were using, it felt like they were like, okay, MLB The Show does this angle, let's replicate it, which was really cool.
Okay.
It was awesome. They kind of took the video game cutscene and applied it to real life, and it was awesome. It looked really good.
Okay. I'm gonna have to jump in and watch the next one, because that sounds appealing, honestly.
Yeah, I thought that part of it was really good because like I got on Twitter and I was like, man, all these people are complaining. Like it's really not like too bad. But then I saw they were talking about the Mats and the Nets. The Nats and the Mets.
Yeah. Wow. That would be hard.
I was like, okay, yeah, I didn't watch that game, but I felt like the Angels and Astros game was fine, but I guess you're going to get more opinion from the East Coast than the West Coast is what's going to get the attention, and the negativity is going to get the attention too.
Always, for sure.
So I don't know. I think, and I don't know who did that game, but if it's Scott Braun, I will mute it every time anyway.
I don't know who did it either.
He was doing the YouTube games last year.
Yeah.
And everybody's always like, golly, this guy's so bad. I'm like, yes, he is. He is the reason I stopped listening to the Baseball and Chill podcast with he and Kelly Nash, because I couldn't stand him. Like,
right.
He's the worst. Terrible. But
that's amazing. This is quite the stance you're taking, Brad. Did you what?
I was firmly dug into the sand on this one, Brig.
Yeah, you are. Just right stuck in that box. Did you do K-Rod?
I didn't. I actually forgot that it was on. I wanted to watch it. I was like,
so did shoot. I forgot. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one that just forgot.
But so this is the one thing that I heard today. So I was listening to Dan Patrick like I do every day, and they were talking about it, and they're like, okay, so they wanted to replicate the Manning cast with the Manning brothers for baseball. Like that's the point of this. But you're not going to get that if you have a professional play-by-play guy with a former player. You have to let two former players do it.
So, you do.
And it has to be two former players who have chemistry. The Mannings are brothers.
Right.
So they're going to pick on each other and stuff like that. They have a relationship that you cannot fake. But you've got to have two players do it if you're going to do it, and it's going to be legitimate. You can't have Michael K come in and do it. It's not going to be the same. But I am going to watch it this week and see how it goes.
And I love Michael K. Don't get me wrong. Like I've been
he does a great
job fan for a long time. He's absolutely phenomenal. But you're right. That informal dynamic is just not going to come through as much. I would love to see David Cohn loosen up a little bit and do something like this, but I want to see a rotating cast. I don't know if we brought that up last time we talked about this, but I think if they had a cast, if they had dynamic duos and they had 4 duos and they rotated one a month, we get one team a month, and we get like, well, I want a power hitter, position player, all-star, and I want a pitcher. Like, I want to see Poppy and Pedro at the same time. That would be
awesome.
fantastic, right?
That would be great.
If you got Paul O'Neill and David Cohn at the same time, that would be really cool. You know what I mean? Like, if you could get, I don't know, even Pete Rose and I don't know, get somebody else. That would be, Pete. I want Pete Rose and Snoop Dogg. That's what I want. It just hit me. I want Pete Rose and Snoop Dogg.
So this is the thing we're looking for, Brig. When it comes down to the thing that we're all looking for is not quite so much polish.
That's right. We want raw.
Right?
Yes.
You know who would
informal.
So if ESPN wants to get a name to put with A-Rod in the box and somebody who appeals to people, do you know who they should use?
It's not J-Lo. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
John Boy.
Oh, yeah.
That would be fun.
That would be incredible, actually. John Boy and A-Rod?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I think it would be a lot of fun. People love the way he talks about baseball, and
he does a great job. Me
Outstanding.
Too. I love what he does.
Yeah, I'd actually keep the volume up.
Yeah, and it would be fun to see a far less formal experience with A-Rod, who I think is getting reps in and moving more formal. I wonder if that would be its own dynamic, if they both stayed in their lanes, or if A-Rod would kind of dismantle his formality a little bit and see him kind of mellow out. That'd be really cool, Brad. That's a really cool idea.
I don't know. Maybe we need to put that into the Twitterverse or something and see if it gets some traction.
Speak it into the universe. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tell me, we're going to move on here. I broadcast a lot of when I watch baseball, I do it on the app, the MLB TV app, right?
Yeah.
And they've got this rotating cast of like 3 ads. They get the same 3 ads every time, and it's just abysmal. It's just terrible. But they've started doing Baseball Zen. And let's just explain to everybody, Baseball Zen is a 30-second slow motion video graphics in the background, superimposed upon which is a diamond with all 3 bases and home plate at the bottom that gets filled in like they're doing the chalk lines in also slow motion. And it kind of feels like a loading screen on a video game or like a countdown clock, like an egg timer type thing, but it's all slow-mo baseball.
It's like an ASMR thing.
Stuff. Yeah, it's like an ASMR thing. Yep. Anyway, it's super cool. I dig it. What do you think?
I like it a lot. Like I said, I don't watch a whole lot of baseball with the sound on, but I do have it on during day games when I'm working.
Yeah.
And Baseball Zen is perfect when you're working. Yep. Like, if they did a YouTube channel of just like 3 hours of Baseball Zen, I would have it on when there's not baseball just to get the sound. Because there's one that's the sound of the rain.
Yeah.
There's another one that's the sound of a pitch. There's a crack of a bat with a play. The one that does sound like fingernails on a chalkboard to me is the chalk roller. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
It's the squeaky wheels on the chalk roller because they all sound like that. And
they do.
It's like fingernails on a chalkboard to me. I can't handle that one.
But so one of the things that I do, I'm really into mindfulness practices. And I looked up at the screen the first time I saw it, and I was like, what the heck is this? And then it hit me, and my worlds collided. It was like I got baseball, and I got mindfulness, and it all just went boom in this like superconductor in my brain, right? So now what I do when I get Baseball Zen on the TV is I track my breathing with the chalk line as it progresses around the diamond. And so it kind of forces me or invites me, or whatever language you want to use. It invites me to take a couple of breaths, be present. So I try to breathe in. You have to catch it, but I try to breathe in on the way to first base. I breathe out on the way to second. I breathe in on the way to third, and then back to home. I breathe back out. And it's just kind of, I can I don't even have to close my eyes because the visuals are so appealing, but
Mhm.
it just is a way to center myself. I know that sounds hippie, and some of you are going to be totally against it, but that's okay. One day you'll figure it out. But
That's
that's
good. Well,
one
so
of the things that I do with it.
I just take it as like a 30 seconds to just like not focus on anything around me.
Yeah.
That's kind of my Zen moment. Just
Same
and
idea.
mostly I watch the chalk line because that's really satisfying. Is watch the chalk
It
line
is
go around.
satisfying.
So
It really is. So let's go from the most Zen baseball thing to the least Zen baseball thing. The benches cleared at Wrigley.
could you imagine baseball's a slow motion brawl? No.
Oh, here comes Rugi Odor, just like
The
I'm calling
connection of the
MLB.
punch is the
That's-
Zen moment. 30 seconds of his fist flying in.
Or Bryce Harper's batting helmet going off to first base. Somebody who was it that sent that Bryce Harper hype video? Somebody sent that hype video about Bryce Harper. Was it this morning? I think it was this morning.
Yeah, it was.
And it was so convenient because the way it was edited, Bryce Harper chases, he runs to the mound and he throws his helmet, and then right as it happens, a graphic with words comes up over it to not obscure but obstruct our ability to see where the traveling pathway of the helmet went. Oh, so it looked like he threw it on there. I was like, this is some high quality editing. This is great. Oh man.
Sorry. Anyway, there were benches cleared at Wrigley.
Oh yeah, they did.
Cubs pitcher Keegan Thompson hit Andrew McCutchen intentionally. Now, this is the thing here, is that the Brewers have been hitting the Cubs incessantly over the last, 2-3 years?
At least 3 years.
They've hit them 27, 28 times over this time. I think it's over the last 2 years. Wilson Contreras has been hit 15 of those times.
That's right. He has. Yeah.
Which is absolutely absurd. But then Keegan Thompson gets suspended for 3 games.
Yep.
It's like, what? It's so
I'm pretty
bass backwards, Brig.
It's crazy.
I don't even know what to do with it. Besides it's the kid hitting kid A hitting kid B B hitting kid A back, and then kid B getting put in timeout.
That's right.
It's exactly
they're the ones that get noticed. Yeah, the retaliation's always the problem. Always get caught.
Yeah, it's
absurd. I think even David Ross got suspended for a day or something because of his. I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, I'm sure he was beside himself and was not encouraging anybody to get back in the dugout.
Oh yeah, no, he's probably right up in there, which is one of the things I love about David Ross. Anyway, Gary Sanchez is. Well, we all know how I feel about Gary Sanchez. He plays for the Twins now, which is just glorious information. But he thought for sure he'd hit a bomb, and he.
Well, so context real quick.
Sorry, you can't even look.
Okay, so this is the Twins. It's Twins and Mariners. That's why I know exactly what happened here.
Okay,
so it's the bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, runner on first in a 2-1 ball game. He thought he just walked it off. But with the way he flipped his bat, premature flippulation, you would have thought it was going upper deck. Instead, it was caught at the warning track by Jesse Winker. But I will say this. I had a minor anxiety attack as that ball was in the air because I thought that it was going to come down to Jesse Winker's ability to climb the wall for the Mariners to win that game. Right. I was like, oh, no. Because I knew it wasn't super gone, right? I knew it was going to be close.
For sure. Right.
I was like, no, it's just going to go into the first row. I'm going to lose this game.
Just by that much.
But he made the catch. Game over. The Mariners won. At the time, they were on pace for 162-0, and then they lost 2 in a row. 2-2, but whatever. It is what it is, Brig. It's early.
Everybody was on pace for 162-0 a couple days ago. Anyway, okay. Last thing, and then we'll take a break. The Durham Bulls are the AAA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays, and they came out with a new uniform
They
that
did.
is a tip of the cap to their history, which has now been 25 years long with affiliations with Tampa Bay. And they're sweet. I mean, I hate them because I hate the original Tampa Bay like
The rainbow
rainbow
color. Yeah.
color thing. It's not my thing. I think I just don't like them. But I do appreciate the move here from a public relations standpoint. Now, because if you go all the way back to just a couple years ago when they were realigning everything, all the geographical, realignments with minor league
Mhm.
baseball, they lopped off the rookie league, and now it's independent ball. All this stuff. I wonder if this is not a big fat thank you. If this is not like, don't forget we love you and you love us, right?
It could be. But no, that's I'm not in love with it. Just like you said, like the look of it,
Yeah,
but it is cool that they did it, right? That they
yeah.
went and they made those uniforms. But no, it was funny because I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, I shared it with the Facebook group. I was like, let it rip, and everybody's like, I think it's super cool. I'm like, oh, I
Yeah,
was waiting for Brig to come in mostly.
I did. I
I know you did.
posted 2 throw up gifts in a row. I just needed to tip the scales back. Anyway, baseball family, before we go, don't forget that you can jump on Patreon and support the podcast. We have 3 tiers: $5, $10, $15. Comes with a bunch of perks, including the bullpen cut, which is our kind of adult version. It's the R-rated version of the show, I guess you could say. You also have access to some of our production planning before the show and more. So jump on there. And with that, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about City Connect jerseys. We have 7 teams getting jerseys this year. 2 have been released, and we'll update you in just a minute.
No matter which ballpark you're at, you want to rep your team. Now you can with 9 Plus Us. Welcome to the Big City Series. With every design available in your team's colors, you can fit in with the home crowd or stand out on the road. Either way, we have the colors you crave. Shop the Big City Series and find designs that rep your favorite baseball podcast, cheer from the cheap seats, and much more. Shop the Big City Series only at 9plusus.com.
Welcome back, baseball family. So we have some City Connect jerseys to talk about. Brig and I are massive jersey nerds. I mean, we sell T-shirts. We love clothes. Let's be honest. Like
Let's be
it all
honest.
fits. So we
True.
had some City Connect jerseys come out over the last couple weeks, so we have not really had a chance to talk about, but we are going to recap last year real quick. For those of you watching on the YouTubes, you can see we have all 7 from last year. We had Boston, Miami, the Chicago Cubs, and the Chicago White Sox. The Diamondbacks, the Giants, and the Dodgers all released their uniforms. Personally, I think the Miami one is the strongest. Looks outstanding with the red and the pinstripes. Which one did you like the best, Brig?
Southside Chicago for sure.
Southside
Chicago White
Chicago.
Sox the strongest. Yep.
Yeah, and that's a very, very close second. Somebody the other day, I can't remember who it was on our fantasy baseball feed, said that was like straight up 90s gangster rap. And I was like,
That's exactly what it is, dude.
you are right. That's exactly what that is. So
Yep.
last year they came out pretty strong for the most part. Not a big fan of the Diamondbacks. The Dodgers was a little lazy, a little bit confused by the Wrigleyville one, just as a whole concept. But
Yeah. The Dodgers ones look like pajamas.
they do, and they were very lazy with it because they just went Los Dodgers instead
the
of doing anything
Giants
else.
ones looked better in person than they did on the presentation.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan, but then I kind of warmed to them. But the Boston ones, I think they suck. Like, I get it. I know the marathon and all that crap, but I think they suck.
Well, the hats look like they're UCLA Bruins hats.
Right. Yeah. It just all,
So,
I
yeah.
don't know. It's not my favorite, but
Not good.
We got more. We got more to talk about.
We do. So let's get into real quick. The first one that was released was the Washington Nationals. That came out a couple weeks before opening day, and then they actually debuted them opening weekend. I know they wore them Saturday. I don't think they wore them Sunday, but I think my initial impression was not good. I didn't like it. but then they grew on me, and I thought they looked great on the field.
Right. Yeah, they did.
And so we have a couple of them. We have a couple pictures of them up on YouTube right now. You can see them. They're like gray. It looks like an old wool jersey.
Right, like a rough hewn
Yeah,
homespun. Yeah.
yeah, with a big WSH on the front with cherry blossoms on the left side, just below the H. Then the hat is navy blue with a white W with kind of like a pink drop shadow behind it,
Yeah.
with cherry
Yep.
blossoms behind it, and then on the side there's a cherry tree, and it looks great. And then with
The
the
hats are
helmets,
killer.
they are killer, and the helmets they put the cherry tree on the back, and the
Nice.
socks look presidential.
Yeah,
Is that the word?
I think so. Yeah.
They're kind of they're that same gray with 2 stripes and 3 stars. They look
Yeah.
awesome.
I don't hate them. I think it's the least impressive part of the ensemble, but I didn't hate them. I think they rounded out. The whole thing is soft. The whole thing is a little bit understated, but I like that about it.
Yeah.
Right? Like the bright pink on gray is never going to miss ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was just mostly it was really well done.
It was, and my first thought was like, man, they could have gone like really radical with like red, white, and blue. You know, done something with an eagle, like brought the
Yeah.
mascot in.
Yeah.
So I think I was just a little bit disappointed at first, but then looking at it more, I thought it was great, and it looked outstanding on the field, especially since they went with the white pants.
The white pants are killer.
Oh, it looked so good with the white pants. Just stick with white and gray pants. Don't go with the Little League colored pants. Speaking of which, Brig,
it's great.
the Astros released their City Connect uniforms this week.
You're amazing at this.
Thank you.
That was so good.
So let's look at the jersey first. Let's
Okay.
go on YouTube. Let's go just with the jersey to start. So they're navy blue with like a tequila sunrise trim, right? Like
They are. Yeah.
like the trim that goes down the buttons, and then they used the NASA font to put Space City across the front.
Yep.
That I think is super cool. Honestly, like I get Houston Space City.
Yeah.
Space City to me seems a little Looney Toony.
Right.
I would have preferred to just see Houston or Astros on it. But I get it. It's a city. It's a City Connect.
Yeah.
It's the nickname. It's fine.
It's all true, Brad. Everything you said. Don't forget the sleeves that you pointed out to me actually have a grid pattern on them that we see here is inspired by mission control monitors and solar array. And I think that's pretty neat. This is the thing I love about these City Connect is that they're going deep and they're thinking hard about it. Everything, most of it is really well thought out. The hats are also really impressive because they've kept their H and they've kept the star behind it, but the star behind it is in that tequila sunrise gradient. And then there's this swooping
looks like an orbiting baseball.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's awesome. It's on this oblong oval shape that kind of encompasses everything behind the H. It's terrific. The hats are totally on point.
They should keep the hats, honestly.
They should. That should be an alternate.
Yeah, because they look great. They look really, really good.
I actually love the Houston City Connect jerseys. I'm gonna call it right now. I love them.
I think they're great. Like I said, the only issue is the nickname for me, but that's because I'm not from there, I think.
Right.
So I love it. I think it looks
colors,
great.
Man, they kept that tequila sunrise thing in there, but they made it a gradient instead of those bars like in the old 90s jerseys.
Yeah.
And even before then, the 80s and 90s. But yeah, love it, dude.
And today. But this is the highlight for me, though. So they did go with navy blue pants. That's my only issue. Go with white. It would make
but
the
don't
jersey
you love
pop.
the number on the hip?
I do love the number on the hip. That's outstanding because that's such an old school thing, and I think it's super cool. They need to bring it back. It needs to be a permanent thing.
I agree.
But look at Jose Altuve's socks.
Yeah.
Those are outstanding.
They are
another
beautiful.
Tequila sunrise, orange up gradient to the knee is yellow, and they look awesome.
They look like each one of them was hand dipped, and then they like dipped the sock in the dye and let the dye rise up the sock, and then they pulled them out before it bled too far. Like that's what it looks like. They're super cool.
Yeah, they're awesome. I think they did
Yeah.
a great job with those. Those are amazing.
Overall rating, Brad, give Houston and Washington out of 10. What are you rating these?
So originally I would have given Washington probably a 2, but I'm going to give them an 8. Just because I
Wow.
do still think that maybe they should have done something more to do with like the national side of it, but at the same time, like I said, I'm not from this. I've never been to Washington D.C. honestly,
Right.
so I don't know about the rose blossoms, but it does look cool. The purple, the pink on the gray does look really good, and seeing them on the field, they looked awesome. So I bumped it up to an 8.
See, and I love that they stayed all the way away from anything political. That's my jam. But personally, that's just that's my lane. I'm gonna give them a 7. 7 out of 10. It's like a 6.5 in real life, but since I'm not gonna do a half, I'll go ahead and bump it to a 7. The Houston ones for me though, I'm giving them a full blown 8.5, 9, probably a 9, honestly.
Yeah, I'd probably give them a 9. I think visually they look great. They're going to look awesome on the field.
Yeah, they
They're
are.
going to look so good on TV. I'm really excited when they debut those. That'll be really cool. So that is 2 of the 7 total that we're going to see this year. Next, we're going to have the Colorado Rockies. Now, Brig, this is something that could be really interesting because we saw obviously we saw the All-Star game in Denver last year, and sometimes I feel like they could tease because they do their own custom jerseys for that, and we could get a little bit of a tease from what we saw last year. Is there anything in particular that you think we might see or you'd like to see with the Rockies City Connect jerseys?
Yeah. Okay. So I did a little bit of research on this, and what I want to see is a green color scheme. Now, all of you are at home laughing because of legalized marijuana. That is not why I chose green, although that doesn't hurt as a bonus reason to give them green jerseys. But that's not why. I did a little bit of research. They have over 200 parks within the city limits of Denver itself. That's astonishing. And then up on the mountainside, because they're right beside the Rocky Mountains, there are 200,000 acres of green land, of nature preserve land, etc. And they even have their own protected buffalo herd.
Or is it a bison herd?
Bro, I don't know. I have no idea. I read buffalo.
Okay, all right. Maybe
so in my notes, I took buffalo down. Okay. But if you want to enlighten us later, that'd be great. Just not right now.
Not right now.
Just kidding. But that's why I want to see something green. I also think that it would be a fun departure from purple and black. Those colors that they've been working with, I think, are really hard to work with. We've, even in our efforts to pay homage to Colorado's baseball team, it's not easy. So with the black and the purple, I think we get all the way away from that and kind of pull a Boston where we get that baby blue, royal blue, yellow combination. If we can get something fun, something green, I think it would be totally different for them, and it would be totally different in the league, totally different than anything we've seen from Nike so far as well. So that's what I'm hoping for. What about you? You got anything you're hoping to see?
So I do want to see them get away from the purple and black. Just because sometimes the color schemes get a little stale, and it's fun to mix it up. I can see why they did that with Boston, like you just mentioned, mixing it up and pulling in something else. I think that honestly they're going to pull something from the flag because they've done that already with some of their other hats, some of their alternate hats, and I think that they're going to go red, white, and royal blue, and with like a yellow accent in there somewhere. And I don't necessarily know what they're going to do as far as like a logo or anything like that, like on their hat. It might just be that C. It might honestly end up looking like a Cubs hat. I could see them doing like a white front panel, a red C with the yellow sun in it or whatever that is, the yellow circle in it, with blue panels in the back and a blue bill. I could see them doing that, but I think it would look awesome.
It would look
It would be
awesome.
really cool. Honestly, as long as they do white pants, would beat that to death.
Brad is always talking about those white pants. He wants the white pants. Just put those white pants on. Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're also going to get into Kansas City, Milwaukee, Anaheim, and San Diego. Those are the rest of the teams up for this year, and we'll tell you what we think they should look like.
The None Other Sports Podcast is the home of sports talk for everyone. Every other week, you can catch David and Jason as they talk about all things sports, from current events to classic moments and everything in between. You can find the None Other Sports Podcast on Anchor.fm, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, and more. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review.
Welcome back, baseball family. We're continuing to talk about City Connect jerseys, and we have 4 more teams that we're going to see this year that we haven't gotten into quite yet. We have Kansas City, Milwaukee, Anaheim, or LA, and San Diego as well. Now let's lead off with Kansas City. I have some thoughts, Brig.
Send them, dude. So do I. I want
to
hear what you think. Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool stuff they can do in Kansas City. They did the turn ahead the clock jerseys like forever ago, right?
Yeah.
They looked really good. I thought they looked really cool. But
I agree.
This is what I want to see. I want to see a complete nod to the Kansas City Monarchs. That's really what I want to see.
Yeah.
Go
straight
red.
Negro Leagues.
Yes. Make it a modern day Negro League uniform. You've got to have the accents on the seams of the hat. You've got to have KC.
Yeah.
Keep Royals, but put it in the Monarchs font.
Ooh.
That they had.
Okay.
But that's really what I want to see. Like I have got to see heavy influence from the Monarchs on the Royals uniforms.
I love it. And, part of me wanted to go that way with my opinions as well. But they've done a lot of Negro Leagues nods in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And even teams they invite into Kansas City, they have them, pay homage to the Negro Leagues from their visiting cities as well.
Well, I think it's going to be an every year thing with Juneteenth now, honestly.
It needs to be.
Because I know that Seattle's
really
doing the Steelheads this year.
Yeah, it needs to be. Here's what I thought. I did some research on this as well. There are more barbecue joints in Kansas City than per capita than any other city in the United States. Which was pretty.
Did you get any barbecue the other day, by the way?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Making sure you're doing your trip right, Brig. I'm just checking in. That's all.
Okay. Thanks, Brad. But yes, I did. I appreciate it. Sorry. I don't mean to be so sassy. That's the fatigue talking. Kauffman Stadium. So Kauffman Stadium, which I visited for the first time a couple days ago, they have fountains in the outfield, right?
Yeah.
And it's awesome unless it's 25-mile-an-hour wind gusts or better. Because even if you're sitting away from them, you're like, is it raining?
You're getting wet.
It goes everywhere. It's pretty cool. Keeps you warm. Cool, I mean. But what I learned why there are so many fountains in the outfield, and that's because they have over 200 fountains in the city of Kansas City.
Whoa, dang.
There are over 200
Is their nickname
fountains.
Fountain City?
They are the city of fountains. That's the nickname.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I thought, okay, so if they're known for their fountains, which maybe is just a marketing gimmick, maybe it's the heart of the city, I don't know. They're also, you have to nod the Negro Leagues. You have to.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's also the birthplace of like truly international jazz. Like that's where jazz got really, really big for the first time. Like Count Basie and so like some big, I don't want to get into it, but there's some big jazz history. 18th and Vine is where the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum is, and it is co-located with the Jazz Museum. They're in the same building.
That's cool.
There's huge history there. So I'm trying to figure out how are you going to incorporate Negro Leagues, but you're right, with the Juneteenth thing, maybe they already do that and they stay away from it with the City Connect. So then give me something jazz. And I think that it would be really cool to see them do a bright prismatic purple thing, because I don't know why I feel like the color of Jazz is purple. Maybe because I'm a Utah Jazz
I was say the
fan growing
Utah
up.
Jazz.
Yeah, that's got to be it. But I wonder if there's a way to bring Jazz into it somehow. I would love to see that. I just think that would be super cool. So take the Negro Leagues uniform blocking and throw in some fun Jazz themed colors, and maybe do like they did with the cherry blossoms in Washington, and do a, I don't know, a trumpet or something. I don't know. You could do whatever you want, but that's what I want to
cool.
see. I want to see
That'd be
jazz
really cool.
music. Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, man.
I like it a lot.
Thanks.
All right, Brig, go ahead and take us into Milwaukee. What do you want to see from the Milwaukee Brewers?
Okay. So this was the most fun I had researching. Okay. So have you ever been to Milwaukee?
Never in my life.
Milwaukee is the funkiest town. It's so different. And I've always felt that way, but as I was reading up on it, it became more clear why. Because obviously you have beer, right? Beer is the huge thing. And they're the Brewers, right? That'd be super duh. So on top of that, so I asked myself, can you do beer, City Connect beer? I'm like, no, you can't. How? No, the answer is no.
They do it every day, so they probably shouldn't do it.
Right. So then, did you also know that that's where a huge amount of Harley Davidson production is?
Yes, I did know that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's their North American headquarters. I think it is. I know the museum is there, which is a really cool museum. If you're ever in Milwaukee and you get a chance to go to the Harley Davidson Museum, do it. It's super interactive. They teach you all kinds of stuff you didn't even think you wanted to know. It's really cool. You get to play with different kind of engines and stuff like that, how they're built. So I'm thinking, okay, motorcycles. They're also known as the city of festivals. I guess they throw a party every chance they get, and that's cool. But then, dude, I got into it a little deeper, and I found that there is now the people's flag of Milwaukee.
I got to look this up. I got to see this.
It's called the people's flag of Milwaukee. So here's what it looks like for you listening. Maybe Brad can put something up on YouTube while I'm reading this out loud. But for those of you listening, here you go. It's symbolic of, there's a sun rising over Lake Michigan, and that symbolizes a new day. This is all, I'm quoting all of this. The light blue bars are the sun's reflection on Lake Michigan, and it represents also the city's three rivers, because there's three intersecting rivers in Milwaukee. And then Milwaukee was also founded with three towns that abut against each other. And then there's a gold top. There you go. The gold top represents the brewing history with the wheat. And then the sun is represented in white, and that's indicative of peace. And I'm thinking, okay, first of all, that's a tremendous amount of thought that went into that. If I'm Nike, I'm not going to try and reinvent anything. I'm going to take those colors. I'm going to take that color scheme. I'm going to take that color blocking, and I'm going to make something of it.
So the yellow and blue is already the Brewers color scheme, right?
Yeah.
Like that specific navy blue they use. And to be completely honest with you, that navy blue and yellow, I'm not a big fan of the color yellow, but that's one of the best color schemes in baseball, in my opinion.
Really is. The way they're doing it now is unbelievable.
If the Mariners went throwback and used that color scheme, I would buy a hat, jersey, whatever I can get my hands on that day. Because it's such a good color. And I've seen some Mariners stuff in that color, and it looks really, really good. That being said, so I did some research myself, believe it or not.
What? You did not?
Yep, I did. Yep.
Okay.
Milwaukee is known as the Cream City. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I didn't get that far.
It's because they're yellow cream colored bricks that were first discovered there in the 19th century, according to WUWM.com. Anyway,
whoa, okay.
So use that color scheme because it's strong, but instead of going white, go with cream.
Ooh.
And I would say go white jersey with the light blue, with some light blue trim, navy blue lettering with some yellow accents, And I don't know that you necessarily go too far into anything else. Like a lot of the City Connect jerseys go really, really deep in. Like we saw with the Washington Nationals, they specifically had the cherry blossom on there, right?
Yeah.
But don't get messy, right? Maybe
Oh
even like
yeah, I agree.
what's the abbreviation for Milwaukee? Like what's the
MKE, I think is the
MKE?
city.
Just go
Yeah.
MKE across the front with that trim, and I think it would look really good. Just go minimalistic with it. Don't go over the top. Don't get too crazy.
Yeah.
But just incorporate those colors. You got to get the people's flag in there because I think that's an important thing because they're already doing that. But get the baby blue in there, and it will look really, really good. But if you're gonna go cream jerseys, go ahead and go with cream pants, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, duh. And if you're gonna, and I like the representation of 3 in the people's flags. It's in there a couple of times. I maybe 3 stripes down the pant leg, or 3 stripes across the sleeves, or something like that.
So you know how sometimes you get that, like it's not quite like an elastic, but it's a trim on the sleeve.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Do 3. Do a baby blue, navy blue, baby blue, or maybe even navy blue, baby blue, and yellow.
Yeah.
On the sleeve, and then down, like you said, down the stripe on the side of the pants would look really cool.
They did that on LA's last year. They have one black band that kind of has the cuff. It's the cuff of the sleeve, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
right.
Brad, tell me about Anaheim.
Okay. Now,
your wife's an Angels fan.
She is an Angels fan. She grew up about 15 minutes north of Angel Stadium. I've spent a considerable amount of time down there visiting family. They no longer live there, so we don't go there anymore, unfortunately. But this is the thing, is you've got to either incorporate the beach or Disneyland.
Yeah!
Right?
Yes!
Now, I don't know. So, Brig, you and I were talking before the show started about proposed City Connect for the Astros. And we said that it looked like Looney Tunes. Looked like if Space Jam were a baseball movie, this is what they would wear, right? That's my only problem with Disneyland, is it's going to look like Mickey Mouse, right?
Yes.
And I don't feel like that would sell, because Disneyland, they sell their own baseball jerseys. I used to have a goofy one. It looked awesome. I loved it, but I don't necessarily want to see that on a field. So what I'm saying is go to the beach. You're not far from the ocean. Bring in the beach. Go with a sunset color. Don't quite go with the tequila sunrise color of the Astros, but go with more of like, really mix it up and go with like deep purples.
And like a nice
orange and pink.
Yeah.
Go with pastels, because that's
forbidden vibes. Forbidden
vibes. That's it right there.
You're
that's
right.
exactly what we need.
Yeah,
we
forbidden
need
vibes.
Yes, 100%.
With that neon teal, that bright hot pink. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Think Saved by the Bell.
Think Saved by the Bell and 80s skateboarders.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what they need. That's what they need right there.
And you know that design from the 80s where it's squiggly and it's teal with
triangles.
Purple and their little bumpy wave top triangles. Yeah. Just like that.
And here's the kicker. The jersey has to say Anaheim.
Oh, dude, if they say anything but Anaheim, I'm going to go up. I will be up in arms.
I'll go berserk. I'll be honest with you.
I'll be so mad. Oh, man. So I did a bunch of research on this too, but we've already agreed that that's what should happen. So we'll just keep going. Right. Let's talk now last about San Diego. So do you mind if I jump in on this one first?
Go for it.
So San Diego, you could make the argument about the beach as well, but I'm saying no, because the one thing San Diego is known for is its military presence, right?
Yep.
Specifically the United States Navy. And what I want to see is either dress whites or what they call their dress blues, which is a deep navy, almost black top. And I want to see white pants. And I want the pants to have a gold braid down each side, down the like officer pants. something like that. I want to see gold brocade style looping, like naval officer designs up the sleeves, something like that. I want them to go full blown United States Navy on this one. Just rip off one of the uniforms and go to town.
That'd be awesome. So I too would love them to go with Navy, with a naval influence. And I was actually talking about this the other day with Jewel, because he's like, "What do you want to?" He's like, "What are some of the things that you want to see from these?" I was like, "Funny you should mention, because that's what we're talking about this week."
Nice.
And I told him, I said, they have to go Navy, like you said, that dark Navy.
Yeah.
I was like, the one thing I want to see is a fighter jet on a hat, because I would buy the hell out of that. I would scoop it right up.
Yes, you and everybody else.
Put an SD and a fighter jet on that hat, and everybody in this country is wearing it, because that would be outstanding. And I think it's funny that the Padres just went away from navy blue back to brown and gold, right?
Yeah.
But it's fitting in this situation to go back to the navy blue, and it's a little bit, it's different.
It's darker. It's much darker. Yeah.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be like a throwback, but at the same time, like, they have to go with the naval nod.
They have to.
Yeah.
There's no other way to do it. I can see them doing something battleship gray, like that USS, like the aircraft carrier. You know what I'm talking about? That battleship gray.
Yeah.
Forget what is it? The Ronald Reagan that's parked in the. I can't remember. I think it is the Ronald Reagan. Anyway, the point is they could go with that battleship gray, and that could be pretty neat. But they wear gray all the time anyway, so I would stay away from that unless you could get super cool with it. But I don't know.
What if? So the Washington Nationals, their gray is like, kind of
It's
like
a heather.
It's a heather. Yeah, because it looks more like. So I hate to go this way, but it looks honestly like an old military uniform from the 1800s, specifically.
That's exactly what it looks like. Yeah,
that's what it looks like. So
it's a totally a homespun tweed kind of gray.
Yeah, and I wonder if they were to go with like a slate.
Yeah. So,
but anyway,
yeah, dude, that's super cool. I'm excited to see. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be release dates on any of these, so we don't know when we're going to get them, unless they've released that in the last 2 hours. But Brad's going to look really quick. But the point is, we are really excited about these, and we hope that we're not the only ones. We don't think we are. Otherwise, Nike wouldn't be doing it. Super duh. But baseball family, what do you think? What color schemes do you want to see? Especially if you're from one of these cities, and we've totally missed the mark. I don't think we did, but come at us, like, fight us about it. Like, you can jump on the baseballtogether.com and drop us a line. You can leave us a voicemail and let us know if we totally botched representing your team in your city in some way, or if we totally nailed it. I mean, honestly, we'd prefer to hear that. Super duh.
Yeah, but pretty much. But anyway, but don't forget to jump on the shop as well, 9plusus.com. Spell it out, NINEPLUSUS.com. You can get the awesome stuff we're wearing. Like we said, I have my perfect hat. Briggs got his 42 shirt on. Got Jackie Robinson Day coming up. It's going to be awesome. Very excited. Yep. But don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. We'd love to hear what you think about it. Everything we're doing. But baseball family, with that, we will catch you next week.